Being frugal with money was not an option while I was growing up. It was a lifestyle. We didn't squander. We didn't go over budget. Furthermore, we didn't purchase unnecessary items. I have witnessed trends come and go throughout the years. Technology promises to simplify life, and living expenses continue to rise. What, though, has always been fashionable? Common sense, basic routines, the kind that helped our parents save money and continue to save us money now. I want to expose 12 outdated habits that I still adhere to in this video, behaviors that have enabled me to save thousands of dollars annually. These are not shortcuts or tricks. These are tried and true methods of living that improve your quality of life while lowering stress and bringing you peace of mind. I believe you will find something useful here if you are retired, have a fixed income, or simply want to make better decisions with what you have. These are not merely routines. They are a component of a mindset, one based on thankfulness, simplicity, and using what we have wisely. First habit, switch off the lights. Although this one might seem apparent, I can assure you that it has more power than most people realize. My father used to say to me as a child, "If you are not in the room, the light should not be either." He never said it. Every time someone left a light on, he stated it. Even when I'm by myself, I now find myself saying the same thing. Beyond just saving electricity, turning off the lights when you leave a room has additional benefits. It develops a mindset and a mindfulness habit. You become more conscious of the large things, like how much water you use or how much food you waste. When you are conscious of the small things, like a light switch, for me, saving a few pennies is not the only reason to switch off the lights. It's about being mindful of what we use. Over time, the price of electricity has increased. If a few lights are left on all day, they will appear on your bill whether you are aware of it or not. Some people will contend that it is unimportant. However, every dollar matters for those of us on a fixed income or just attempting to be more deliberate. Turning off appliances while not in use is another way, in my opinion, to create a serene, tranquil house. During the day, a room with natural light feels better than one that is illuminated by bulbs. I just have the lights I need on in the evenings. It lowers the bill, calms my head, and slows the mood. A victory in every way. Turning off the lights when you leave a room is a small habit that builds up over time. Not only in your pocketbook, however, it teaches discipline, presence, and appreciation in your daily life. It serves as a reminder that every little bit counts and that over time, even the tiniest actions can have a significant impact. The second habit is to hang items to dry. Hanging your laundry to dry has a really fulfilling quality. I am aware that it may feel like traveling back in time to some people, but it has always felt perfect to me. Pinning each shirt or towel, seeing them sway in the breeze, then bringing them inside warm from the sun creates a sense of tranquility. We didn't have a dryer while I was growing up. Every year, even in the cold, my mother utilized a clothesline in the backyard, have to hang items inside. Later, the dryer arrived. However, the habit had already developed by that point. Because it was effective and cost-effective, we hung things to dry. Dryers wear out your clothes more quickly and consume a lot of electricity. Although it may be handy, the tumble and heat eventually fades the fabric, stretches the seams, and reduces the lifespan of your clothes. I never over-dried my old dish towels, so I still have them. Your clothes will last longer if you hang them. That is not just economical, but also astute. For rainy days, I have a folding rack in my laundry room. For bright days, I have a straightforward line in the backyard. It just requires a few more minutes, but it's well worth it for the savings and the sense of accomplishment that comes from doing something organically. Indeed, your clothing do smell better, especially when they dry outside. Although it's often said that time is money, occasionally you might save more money by slowing down a little. Start small if you've never hung your laundry, perhaps just your linens or t-shirts. You will notice a change in your attitude as well as in your costs. Patience, thankfulness, and attention to detail are all taught by this modest act of kindness. That is considerably more valuable to me than a few pennies on the meter.
The third habit is to preserve glass jars. I've always kept pickle jars, glass jars, jars of jelly, spaghetti sauce, etc. They are remarkably practical, robust, and reusable. I no longer purchase containers. I don't have to. A high-quality glass jar performs the task equally as well, if not better. Things that could still be useful were not thrown out back then. We simply lived that way. Glass jars were among the items that seemed too lovely to discard. In the garage, they stored everything from leftovers to nuts and bolts, sewing supplies, spare change, homemade jam, dried beans, and more. Before Tupperware was a staple in every kitchen, they were our version of the product.
I adore using glass jars since they are sturdy, free, and, additionally, unlike plastic, they don't retain stains or odors. What's inside is visible. They are simple to clean and may shatter if dropped, but they won't release chemicals into your meal. That mental tranquility has significance. I also like the appearance of a cabinet filled with spotless, recycled jars. It serves as a reminder that I am leading a simple yet purposeful life that doesn't contain any garbage. Knowing that something that was supposed to be thrown away has found a second life is satisfying. When they see how many jars I have stored, people occasionally chuckle. But guess who they ask for one when they need one? Me. I have jars for screws, soup and dry products, paper clips and buttons. I haven't needed to purchase a plastic container in years because I use them for everything. One of those seemingly insignificant behaviors that reveals a lot about our attitude towards resources is saving glass jars. Your possessions will endure longer if you take good care of them.
Additionally, you spend less if you repurpose what you already own. That is beneficial to the environment, your pocketbook, and your soul. Cooking from scratch is habit number 4. Cooking from scratch has a certain honesty about it. I learned how to cook by seeing my mother, who was older than me, measure flour with a coffee mug and stir soup with a wooden spoon. In the past, we didn't possess takeaway apps or frozen dinners. We had the time, patience, and ingredients to create something tangible. Making food from scratch saves money, an abundance of it. Canned soup is far more expensive than a bag of dried beans. More cookies can be made using flour, sugar, and butter than from any store-bought box. Additionally, you are aware of the ingredients in your meals when you prepare at home. No unpronounceable preservatives or mysterious additions. However, cooking from scratch has benefits beyond cost savings. Linkage. You have a connection to the food, the process, and the people you feed. You make use of your hands. You can smell the components. You taste along the way.
It's not a transaction, it's an experience. I continue to bake my own bread occasionally. I want to, not because I have to. It has a superior flavor. It is less expensive. It also makes me think about my origins. A kitchen that is warm rather than noisy. A meal prepared deliberately, not quickly. Start small, even if you're not very good at cooking. Use whatever is in your refrigerator to make a pot of soup. Make a skillet of cornbread. Spread out the cooking of an entire chicken over 3 meals. These modest deeds provide food in a variety of ways. Returning to the fundamentals can seem like home in a world that spends too much and goes too quickly. Making meals from scratch has benefits beyond cost savings. It's about adding significance, one meal at a time, back to the regular. Use the envelope system as your 5th habit. Although the envelope technique may seem archaic, I can assure you that it is effective. My mother taught me this as she always had a tiny drawer full of meticulously labeled envelopes. She kept one for emergencies, one for groceries, one for gas, one for home goods, and occasionally an additional one she just called in case. She would split the money into those envelopes each time she was paid, and she would never spend more than what was in them. Yes, it was discipline, but it was also safety. She was always aware of the precise destination of her funds. Even now, I still utilize that system. Handling actual currency has a certain grounding, even in these era of computerized banking and automated payments. You can sense the worth of money when you physically put it inside an envelope.
As you spend it, you notice that it is getting smaller, which makes you reconsider purchasing items you don't really need. Differentiating between what is essential and what is merely convenient becomes simpler. Surprises are also eliminated by the envelope approach. Overdrafts and neglected subscriptions aren't silently depleting your account. You won't have to guess where your money went. You have power over it. And knowing exactly how much money is left is comforting at this point in life, especially for those of us with fixed incomes for the month, offers comfort that is just not possible with digital figures on a screen. I've heard that the envelope system feels restrictive at times. I tell them that's not the case. I grant myself freedom when I stay inside my envelopes, freedom from stress, worry, and excessive expenditure. Over the years, this modest and straightforward routine has saved me thousands of dollars. Give it a try if you haven't already. Use 2 or 3 envelopes at first. You may be shocked at how much simpler life is when your money has a place. Sleep on every buy is habit number 6. My father had a rule that I never forgot when I was younger. Wait one night if you want something, he would remark. Maybe it's worth purchasing if you still want it tomorrow. When I was younger, I thought it was ridiculous. However, I now see its wisdom. I've saved more money than I could possibly imagine from that one night of waiting. Everything in the modern environment promotes quick purchases. You click on something you've seen online, and before you can even consider whether you really need it, it shows up at your door. However, you allow these feelings to subside while you sleep on a purchase. You let your pragmatic mind catch up with your impulses. The craving usually disappears overnight. You have no idea how many times I've woken up I praised myself for waiting the following morning. Additionally, this behavior promotes patience. And one of our best financial tools is patience. It assists us in avoiding debt, clutter, and purchases that make us happy for 20 minutes, but regretful for much longer. In actuality, we tend to forget about most of the things we believe we need right now within a week. You can also learn to enjoy the goods you do choose to acquire by sleeping on a purchase. The object has greater significance when you wait, think, and make an intentional decision. You cherish it, you handle it more skillfully, your money lasts longer just because of it. Even though it's an outdated habit, it's one of the most potent. Waiting only one night can keep your mind free, your wallet fuller, and your house simpler. You only need to give it some time. The 7th habit is to stay away from subscriptions you don't utilize. Subscriptions have the potential to steal silently. At first glance, they appear little. $5 here, $10 there, perhaps an app you paid up for months ago, a magazine, or a streaming service. When you sum them all up, month after month, you don't even realize you're spending hundreds of dollars annually on items you don't even use. Things like newspapers, televisions, and radios used to only require a one-time payment when I was younger, but nowadays it seems like everything has a continuing cost. Additionally, you wind up paying for convenience rather than value if you don't keep track. For this reason, I take a seat with a notepad and look through my bank statement line by line once a month. I go over each recurrent charge and pose a straightforward question to myself. Did I really make use of this?
If the response is negative, it is canceled right away. Eliminating wasteful spending results in a sense of relaxation. It's similar to organizing a junk drawer. All of a sudden, you have more space to breathe, and the money you free up grows rapidly. Because subscriptions are meant to be forgotten, you must deliberately remember them. I think it's appropriate to pay for things that are enjoyable or helpful. However, I won't pay for items that only occupy space on a bill. Over the years, this habit has saved me a lot of money and made my life easier. There are less distractions, choices, and responsibilities when there are fewer subscribers. Regularly assessing your expenditure is one of the most effective strategies to maintain financial stability. Even if you think it's outdated, you can save hundreds of dollars annually with just a little awareness each month. Fix what you can before replacing it is the 8th habit. Nothing was thrown out at the home where I grew up without at least attempting to fix it. A ripped shirt, a leaky tap, a loose chair leg. We worked on them.
We tightened, glued, patched, and fixed. It was usual, not because it was fashionable. Purchasing a new item was not the first course of action, but rather the last. Nowadays, when something seems problematic, people frequently discard it. They are immediately sent to the store for a replacement if they have a little crack, a loose button, or a sluggish drip. In actuality, though, most issues can be resolved with a little perseverance and time. Additionally, repairing them makes you feel proud in addition to saving money. Bringing something back to life with your own hands has a certain satisfaction. At home, I have a basic tool set, a small sewing kit, some nails, a hammer, glue, and a screwdriver set. Although it is relatively inexpensive, it enables me to fix the majority of common issues. Replacing a missing button on a shirt takes 5 minutes. All it takes to fix a wobbling chair is to tighten a screw. These minor fixes keep you from overspending. Making repairs also extends their lifespan. Your possessions take care of you when you take care of them. Maintaining what you already have rather than continuously replacing it also has a subtle dignity. It imparts patience, accountability, and thankfulness. In my opinion, we should continue to use things until they actually reach the end of their useful lives. It's out of respect, not desperation. You save money when you fix what you can, but you also maintain a resourceful mindset that is becoming increasingly uncommon these days. The 9th habit is to grow what you can. Growing something doesn't require a large backyard. All you need is a pot, earth, sunlight, and a little perseverance. For years, I have been cultivating herbs on my windowsill. When the weather permits, add parsley, basil, mint, and occasionally tomatoes to the patio. Feeding a complete family is not the goal. It's about the little things that contribute savings, freshness, and flavor. We had a garden outside when I was a kid. Anything that the earth could produce, including potatoes, onions, maize, and green beans, was grown by my parents. We shared what we couldn't use with our neighbors and canned what we could.
Although it was demanding, it was worthwhile. The food tasted better, and we enjoyed each meal. I still grow what I can, even though I don't have the stamina for a whole garden right now. A tiny container garden can have a significant impact. A few fresh herbs from your windowsill will make your meals more satisfying, reduce the number of trips to the shop, and prevent half-used bunches from spoiling in the refrigerator. Even a small amount of food gardening helps you stay in touch with the changing of the seasons. It imparts patience. You can't rush it. And it seems like a tiny success when anything grows at last, whether it's a bunch of rosemary or a handful of cherry tomatoes. It also saves money. One bundle of herbs at the grocery store is more expensive than a packet of seeds. You can get weeks or even months' worth of fresh food from those seeds. It's a habit that should be passed down. Try it if you have a porch, windowsill, or even simply a sunny area near the kitchen. Grow what you can. It is straightforward, reassuring, and serves as a reminder that not everything needs to be purchased in order to be worthwhile. Habit 10. When possible, walk rather than drive. Walking used to be something you didn't need to schedule. It was simply a fact of life. We never gave it much attention as we strolled to the shop, to school, and to see our neighbors. It was the reality of the situation. These days, with everything moving so quickly, and people who are reliant on cars tend to overlook the benefits of walking. Not just for your body, but also for your pocketbook. You save money each time you decide to walk rather than drive. Gas, upkeep, and deterioration. Everything adds up. Even quick road excursions can end up costing more than we think. For me, if a location is within a mile, I occasionally go longer if I have the time and stamina. It keeps my heart stronger, my joints active, and my mind clear, in addition to saving money. You can also see things better while you walk. The trees exhibit seasonal changes. You hear the song of birds. You may pause to say hi to a neighbor you happen to run into. These are little pleasures. However, they add up. They give life a sense of fulfillment and connection.
I recognize that not everyone is able to go very far, and that's okay. However, taking a leisurely walk about your neighborhood, even for a few blocks, can be beneficial. Additionally, you will find that you use your car less, pay less, and feel better if you develop the practice of walking before grabbing the car keys. It's free to walk. It's one of the best habits you can have only because of that. Beyond only saving money, though, it serves as a reminder that not everything has to be automated or hurried. Sometimes it's preferable to go slowly. Reuse and repurpose is habit number 11. In the past, nothing went to waste. Screws were placed inside a butter tub. A cleaning rag was made from an old t-shirt. Buttons or nails were held in a coffee can. We didn't refer to it as upcycling or recycling. We simply used what you had to label it. I continued to have that habit.
Even now, I hardly ever discard anything without first wondering, can I use this for something else? Over the years, one straightforward query has saved me hundreds of dollars. I've reused shipping boxes for storage, made dish towels out of old drapes, and utilized old socks as dusters. It made sense, not because I had to. Seeing value in what others ignore is the key to reusing. It's a way of thinking that says, I already have enough. And that kind of thinking is quite effective. It lets you stretch your resources in ways that feel creative and fulfilling, and releases you from the relentless pursuit of the next new thing. Additionally, repurposing makes one feel proud. You feel good about fixing something and making it useful once more. That has dignity. It indicates that you are focused. It indicates that you are doing responsibly. Furthermore, let's face it, our landfills are already overflowing. We can cut waste, save money, and live more mindfully if we can reuse a few more things in our daily life. Perhaps outdated, but definitely helpful.
So, consider whether this could be something else before throwing things away. Is it able to serve another? For what reason? What you come up with may surprise you. Living below your means is habit number 12. All the other habits are connected by this one. Don't go over your means. Although it seems straightforward, it contradicts all that the modern society tells us. You deserve more, according to advertisements. You can afford it, according to credit cards. But when you start living within or even below your actual income and stop living for appearances, you'll find true peace. Living below my means has never felt like a sacrifice to me. It has been liberating. You sleep better when your expenses are lower than your income. You're less concerned. You are not attempting to impress people or pursue every sale. You're just living sensibly and sensibly. It entails preparing meals at home rather than constantly dining out. It entails driving an automobile that performs well rather than one that is ostentatious. It entails declining items that could make you feel wonderful right now but cause you pain down the road. It also entails accepting what is really important: time, relationships, peace of mind, and health. I've been able to avoid debt, accumulate savings, and have a balanced life because to this habit. Because I am not preoccupied with wanting to have everything, it has made it easier for me to enjoy the little things, like a peaceful morning, a steaming cup of coffee, or a stroll through the park. Being frugal is not the same as living below your means. It has to do with intentionality. It is making a life decision that doesn't strain you too much. It's stating, I have enough, and really meaning it. Choose this habit if you are only going to adopt one from this list. Everything will alter as a result. Over time, rather than all at once, you will eventually realize that simplicity is not a step back. It is a step towards living a more tranquil, meaningful, and breathable existence.